Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. There is perhaps no clearer intent of the framers of the Constitution than that the Congress of the United States should have the power of the purse, the power to decide how to raise and spend the people's money. That is the sole prerogative of the Congress. The President's role, as embodied in his oath of office, is to faithfully execute the laws of the country. In this case, in the relevant case, congressional appropriations. Of course, throughout history, many presidents have tried to circumvent congressional spending decisions in order to advance their own personal agendas or philosophical agendas. And on at least three different occasions, Congress tried to push back on that by setting some guardrails, as we've mentioned several times already today. The first time in 1884, the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prohibits the president from spending money that has not been appropriated by Congress. The second time in 1974, when we created the Impoundment Control Act, which was to prevent the administration from refusing to spend funding that has been appropriated by the Congress, and then creating the Government Accountability Office, which is an independent agency whose mission is to oversee the spending activity of the various administrations. Despite these guardrails, this undermining of congressional authority has continued to take place, and I don't think there's ever been a more brazen violator of the power of the purse than Donald Trump. What's made it worse is it's not in advance of the times he's used it is not in advance of some philosophical agenda. It's his own personal political agenda. We saw that when he tried to withhold funding for Ukraine in order to get assistance in his re-election campaign. That brought one of the articles of impeachment that we passed in the House. When he's moved military funding to pay for the Mexican wall, rather than having the Mexicans pay for it, he used military appropriated funds. And even within the last 10 days, threatening to withhold funding to cities whose policies he doesn't like and who thinks that they are anarchical in some way. So for all of these reasons, I introduced a bill called the Congressional Power of the Purse Act, and that is Title V of the Protecting Our Democracy Act. Has three major tenets. It restores Congress's central role in funding decisions. It increases transparency and accountability on the behalf of the administration through OMB, and it strengthens existing budgetary law in a number of ways through reporting requirements, through requiring congressional ratification of decisions to withhold funding, to require the Department of Justice to investigate any illegality that the Government Accountability Office may find, and finally by imposing penalties on those who violate the law. Unfortunately, the Anti-Deficiency Act, which again was passed in 1884, authorizes penalties. The Impoundment Control Act doesn't. So if you violate the Impoundment Control Act, it's okay, you broke the law, so what? Well, we changed those flaws and loopholes and again strengthen the existing guardrails so that we can reassert the power of Congress to raise and spend the people's money.